It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Clark Kent. Superman Secret Identity. Sorry, I'm very distracted by the cat. This is very hard to
The
watch.
cat eating my fucking hair.
Loki,
Stop it. Stop.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's
Loki.
good.
Get off my back. Hop.
Welcome to a Hero Story Book Club.
Yeah, I almost said issue 2. Yo, he's really taken control of this entire episode.
Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, that's
Loki,
the cat.
down, boy.
You're an idiot. Anyway.
Welcome to Hero Story Book Club, episode 2, or issue 2, or chapter 2, or volume
Part
2,
two,
or compendium 2. There's a lot of ways we could phrase this.
Book Club Age of
Book Club, Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah.
We got my pick of the week, Superman, or of the month, I guess. Superman Secret Identity. This is a book that is very near and dear to my heart, and I am so excited that you guys read it. This is a reread for me. This is a reread for Tyler. It's a new read for Harper and a new read for Hunter. So it's a kind of a mixed bag here, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear what you guys think about it because I don't really know.
Oh yeah, I
Harper
guess you
thinks
don't.
of it. I still don't even know that Harper really read it.
I didn't read it.
He read it.
Well,
Stop
okay.
it.
No, you 100% did.
You know how many pages it was. You just looked up the
Yeah,
comicsology list.
I looked at it and then I continued reading like post David Michelini Iron Man issues. Didn't read it. Loki, stop, fuck off, bro. Go away. Yeah, I did. I thought it'd be funny.
I don't know if I believe this. I don't know if I believe it. Let's just start talking about it. Yeah.
Okay, a little synopsis of the story. It's about a guy named Clark Kent in a world where Superman is a comic book, and he's like this iconic comic book character.
It's real life.
And he's from a little town in Kansas, and he gets made fun of because of his name. Relentlessly tormented, given Superman gifts, given Superman comics, and he hates all of it until one day he actually gets Superman-like powers. Now he goes from being a normal kid with a weird name to Superman, and he has to use those powers in the real world for good. And it's the showcase of the abilities. I mean, he ends up getting tracked down by the government because of it. He ends up meeting his wife. It's a great story. Sorry, I'm terrible at explaining things.
It's synopsis.
It's what's it called? It's Superboy Prime basically, but
Yeah.
like told in a modern lens.
Yeah.
It's set in the real world, so there's no like Lex Luthor, there's no end of the world era. It's just
Yeah, it's not the DC universe at all. It's our world, and now there's a guy named Clark Kent who's Superman.
yeah,
It's a very interesting concept, especially the way they kind of use like the Golden Age, Silver Age panels in between each chapter, which I really love.
Hypothetically, actually, what does everyone think of it? I assume you guys all love this book.
It's my favorite Superman story of all time. If it's not, it's 1A, because I always go back and forth between this and All-Star, but I think it's this. I really got to thank Sri is the one who introduced me to the story, because I was very late to the story. I didn't read it until like 2018, 2019. So Sri, if you're listening to this,
Yeah, she might have been the reason I read it too, actually.
They're not. They're not listening.
Back in the day.
She might be listening.
No. Nope.
I believe in Sri. She's listening.
Hunter, had you read it before?
No, this is my first time. Actually.
What did you think of it?
It was great. I read it all in practically one sitting outside too, against a tree. It was wholesome.
Same.
But yeah, no, I really liked it. I didn't know the story going in. I just knew it was about a guy living with the name Clark Kent. I didn't know he'd get the power, so when that happened, I kept thinking it was a dream. So,
What'd you think it was going to be about? Just
a guy
going
named
through
Clark
his
Kent.
life.
That's all I knew. Yeah.
That'd be the most boring story of all time. Because you get over it like.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like there'd be like character development and stuff like that. That's what it would focus on, but instead he actually has the powers, and so I felt they got better every chapter. And I thought the final chapter, there's 4 in total. I thought the fourth was the best one by far.
Yeah, I think the story is kind of like a crescendo. Like it really just does get like it just goes higher and higher as it goes along. Like in that first issue when he talks to the reporter and then like he has like his first public outing that goes terribly wrong, and just like trying to save the girl in the suit. Like it's also perfect. He lets it fall on himself. Like it's just perfect Superman-esque story there.
She blew up that town.
Which is
crazy.
I thought that it was fine on the reread, to be honest.
Whoa!
And I know that's like a weird take, especially considering the fact that I'm like the Superman guy or whatever. But like, I think it's a good book, but I don't know. It didn't like grab me the way I expected it to.
Hypothetically, if I'd read it in a
me.
hypothetical reality where I'd read this book, but not this world because I haven't read it, but like in a hypothetical world, right?
Yeah, of course.
So like not this world, but like a world like our own.
So like a world like our own, where there's another guy,
a world where Josh Allen Harper is a comic book character, and you're also named Josh Allen Harper.
Hypothetically speaking, I would say it's like one of my favorite things I've ever read. Hypothetically speaking.
Really?
Hypothetically.
Oh my god. Okay.
Harper, that just made me smile so much.
It could be like perfect timing because I've been laying in bed for a week slowly fucking dying, but I like read this and I was just like, oh, life's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I get that. Like so I was reading at the beginning, you have an introduction by Kurt Busiek, as we found out it's pronounced
Busiek, as we found out, yeah.
And he talked
a lot of research.
how the pitch wasn't like, oh, it's a Superman story. The pitch was telling a story about like your inner self, the part of you that you hide that nobody knows about, and using Superman. And that I think is so interesting because it's not really a Superman story. It's a story about this kid who has Superman powers. And I think that's a very cool story. And I think the art in this book is like,
it's so good.
Oh my god,
it's immaculate. Some of the best of all time.
Yeah,
and I think the art is the real highlight.
There's a legitimate point where I went, oh, I'm gonna love this, and it's that massive double spread page where it's him like just after he gets his powers, like flying across like the snowy kind of Kansas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that I was like,
I think my favorite page was always, and I remember this page distinctly from when I first read it, was the one where he's like sitting crisscrossed over the city in New York, I think it was. And he's just kind of thinking about stuff. He's just,
yes. This
was
because
one of
the
mine.
art and that's also
We're just on the moon, and there's no stars or anything. And he's like, when he's old too. So
Stuart Immonen is an artist that's just, he's always been good. He's done stuff for Avengers that's been amazing. He did Fear Itself. We've all read Fear Itself, of course.
You've clearly even never read Fear
Clearly.
He did a really good X stuff, but I think his art here is like, it's insane. It's genuinely insane. Like it's too good.
It's well detailed.
I think one of my favorite sequences is when he's in the government lab and they kind of blend like the Brainiac and then they blend the Lex Luthor like Golden Age comics in with it. That's just it's really good stuff.
Like I do have captured by Lex,
not a criticism of the book, but just like how I personally would have liked it. I think I would have, instead of going, high school, adult, older adult, and then old man, I think I would have gone high school, college, adult, and then like the, middle age, having kids kind of sort of age. I don't know. For some reason, just I can't find this. The old man chapter is like towards the end is kind of when I was like, oh yeah, I can like, okay, it's sort of tapering off.
Honestly, I agree. I think the old man stuff for me was
I gotta agree with Hunter here. I really love like the legacy.
A hero story divided.
Civil War. For me, I thought the first chapter was the strongest one because
that's
for
my
me,
favorite
it's like
chapter
when I read this when I was in high school. It was like wish fulfillment. You always wish you could be Superman, and that's what it felt like to me. And I think that there's something very special about that first chapter of this book, where it's just, what if you woke up and you were Superman? Like I think everyone has that thought every once in a while. Like, bro, what if I could fly around? And that's the first issue of this book, and it's excellent.
The first thing he does is fly around.
Yeah.
He goes to a
I,
city,
I,
he
I
goes far
think for
away.
me, that's chapter 2 for me, because the wish fulfillment of a woman actually loving me is, something that.
Oh, yeah.
But
Jesus.
in all seriousness, I really do love the chapter with Lois, because when they first
Yep.
introduced Lois, like it's not a solid relationship to start, but like the way they kind of grow together, and like he even says like, I can't believe someone this cool likes me. And like
Mm.
that's, I think, how everyone wants to feel, right? Where it's like, oh my god,
This
like
is the
we're
page I
I
talked
can't
about, by the
imagine
way.
life without her. Like
Yeah.
like someone this cool likes me. And
Mhm.
and so that whole chapter is just great for me. And when he finally does reveal the identity, like, of what he is to Lois, it feels
Yeah.
like so earned. And
Yep.
and you go from him being a hermit crab because he's scared after the government experiments to
Hermit crab.
he's sharing this life with Lois. It's so good.
Yeah,
I
it's one of
think
those books. You go.
Oh, I was gonna say, I just think my like order of favorites like starts at 1 and then goes 2, 3, 4. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
they
It
get.
gets worse for
I
you.
say, well, I say it gets worse or it gets less interesting, but I still love the other chapters. But like, I think by the old man chapter, I was kind of like, it sort of felt like they were like, oh, well, we kind of need to tell the whole story of this guy. So like, let's, go through all the way to the
Or
end.
the end of his
And I
life.
was like,
kind of thing.
yeah, I was kind of just like, I don't know. I feel like you covered enough ground that you didn't need to like go that far into the future. Because that's kind of when I was so detached at that point that I'm like, I don't like the middle
That's
aged.
interesting, because I think as it goes on, like, not only do you get like, Lois and Superman's relationship has been so good over the years, but his relationship with the FBI agent, like now that he's at
Oh, I
retirement
love
age,
that.
like I just think
He's
that's
got his own
absolutely
Jim Gordon.
But my
brilliantly
thing
written.
with him too, and I had this thought, is like he retires when, Clark's like old, right? But that
Yeah.
FBI agent was clearly a lot older than Clark was when he like first showed up, right? So like you could have him retire and have Clark as like, the 50-year-old middle-aged Superman and be like, we're no longer
You
doing
think it
this
was
'cause
like too convenient that it all kind of wrapped up in a nice bow?
yeah, and it was
Yeah,
like, oh,
I
they're
felt
both
that a little
old and blah
bit.
blah
Like the
blah.
last couple of pages, I felt were just like, and it's over. Like it kind of
Yeah, that's
wraps up.
exactly how I felt. Like I
Yeah.
still love it, but it's just like I was waiting, like I wanted it to leave me kind of with a I don't know, a less conclusive kind of feel. I wanted sort of that feeling like I've gone through this journey and now like life could be whatever sort of you want sort of thing, because that's what it felt like it was setting up. It was like he goes through this whole journey and sort of finds solace within his family and everything, and like he's had this secret his whole life, but he finds happiness. He can just live his life how he wants to. But then we kind of just jump 30 years and then it's just like, oh, look at the grown-up kids, look at
Yeah.
there's two
I felt that a
Supergirls,
little
and
bit
now
as
I'm an
well.
old man and I'm
Yeah,
not
and
writing
there's
on my
more
typewriter
superheroes
anymore
as well.
Yeah, I'm on my
There's
computer.
something-
Yeah, it was very like
I
epilogue-y. I don't know.
I thought that like the idea of this story where it's just like, what's special about you, and it's kind of it's like I said before, and like Busick said at the beginning, it's not a Superman story. Like it's a story about like growing up, and it's
Mhm.
just using the kind of Superman tropes of like, what do you do with these powers? What does it mean to be this character? Like, what does it mean to have powers? Like that whole thing. That is such an interesting way to navigate like growing up and being an adult. And obviously, I'm not there yet, and I don't think any of us are really, really there yet.
Speak for
But
yourself, bud.
that's true,
Okay,
yeah.
Mr. Home Depot, sorry.
No.
But
No,
it's such an interesting idea. It's such a cool concept to use Superman to like explore what it even means to just be a guy in the world.
To grow up. And,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is a great idea.
I'm a little torn on something there. I don't know how I feel. So I was going to ask you guys, how do you feel about Clark not asking his daughters if they have powers?
I was
like,
literally
not
I was
questioning it?
literally I was literally just about to talk about that. Like, I love the
Yeah.
kind of level of trust he has, where he's like, I don't know that it's them, but they're good women. Like, he even says, he corrects himself. He's like, they're good girls. No, they're good women. Like
yeah,
I
it's
know
not up
that
to
they'll do
him.
what's right, and they'll tell me if they want to tell me. And
Yeah.
it's so well played. Like when they first meet, like he lifts the whole train, and like even they're impressed by his strength. Like it's so good. The first time they fly together, like it's supposed to kind of mirror the first time he flies alone. Like you know, he goes from this guy who, when he's a kid, he feels so alone because, you know, he's got this name and he keeps getting made fun of for it, and he feels like he has no one to connect with in the world. And then he creates this family where he's so accepted, and he could finally
Yeah.
have the people around him that understand in a
And
life where no one understands
That's
him.
what's
Yeah,
incredible
exactly.
about the story. It's like it's telling you, like it's about everyone has a secret about them. Everyone's got one, and it's like what makes you special, and how do you
Let's
use
expose
this?
our own secrets right now.
Okay.
I don't even know. I was like trying to think of something. I couldn't even think of.
I'm
Yeah,
genuinely
same.
trying to think of it. I'm
The
so
truth-
open that
The
I don't know
truth
if I
is,
have.
I am Iron Man.
Oh shit!
You are cute.
Okay, no, I can expose like a secret,
You
and
don't
this
have
is
to.
probably
You don't
no,
have
this
to.
is like this is probably the biggest thing that I have hidden from people. When I was a child, I adored
When I was a
the
boy.
Raimi Spider-Man films. Adored.
What?
You liked Spider-Man at one point?
I have photos of me in a photo album over there as a kid dressed in the Spider-Man costume, holding the DVDs of Raimi Spider-Man.
No way!
That might
amazing.
legitimately be the biggest secret I've kept from this community.
Wow.
You actually liked Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, the love's died now, but you know,
Yeah,
once upon a
exactly.
time, it was a happier Josh once upon a time.
But
Josh,
it's so. I just think it's great. It's like telling you that what happens when you embrace that part of you that you're afraid to share is that people will love you and you'll be accepted by it. And it's got such a great message, you know. It's hopeful in the sense of like it's hopeful in the same way that every Superman story should be, but it's not like hokey or
Yeah.
even cliched in the
It's
way
very
that some
real.
Superman stories get, you know.
Yeah, I was so part of me was bothered that he wasn't talking to his daughters or like telling them anything, and he was just kind of letting it be. Even then, I'm on the page now. I'll just read it aloud real quick. The whole thing is they had the daughters over for dinner. He left like a stack of paper on the table, like kind of revealing that he's Superman. And then it says written here, in the morning they didn't say anything, just more talk about Carol's latest and the books they'd read, a movie we'd seen. It was nice. Once they were gone, I didn't use my vision powers to scan the manuscripts for skin oils or fingerprints. I didn't even check the placement on the end table or the thread I left between pages 286 and 287 because I didn't want to. So it's like,
Well, I think it's supposed to be like a reflection of, like, you know, when you have kids in real life, you know, when they're little, you overprotect them, right?
In
Every
real
little
life.
thing is like in
Yeah.
your control, and as they gradually get older, they have more free will and more, like, you know, you trust them more. So by the end, you know, as they're grown women, he finally trusts them to like do the right thing because of the model him and Lois
yeah,
have
he
set.
even says at a point, he's like, if I was in this situation, I wouldn't want someone like, you know, coming at me and being like, "Are you this kind of thing?" Like, he wanted it to be their choice, whether or not. And like, obviously, he has a pretty fucking good idea. Oh, two like superheroes have shown up with Superman powers. Gee, Willikers, who the fuck could they be? I wonder. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, he realizes, and like they even say, "You knew when it like in Australia, didn't you? Like when we defeat the fucking tornado or whatever."
yeah, defeated
I
the
just,
tornado.
you know what I
I'm
think? I think
finding-
it should have just ended at the middle age. Like once he finds out about them, I feel like it should have just
Yeah,
ended.
I
Like,
maybe. I
there,
kind of
around
agree.
there.
The old man stuff did not get me.
It got me. It got me way
That's
too
it
I
good.
for me.
loved it.
Nah, the old
I
man
felt
stuff did nothing for
emotional
me.
with the old man stuff.
Same.
Talking about how he has like
I-
more of the
I-
coat suit because he gets colder easier now.
Yeah,
and-
that was cool.
Oh
I
yeah,
did
that
like
was good. No, I just mean like in terms of overall, like it feels very tacked on.
Mhm.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like it felt more like the epilogue to a story as opposed to
Yeah,
the ending
exactly.
of a story.
Yep.
You know, I'm like flipping through this. I just keep finding myself like seeing another double page spread that I go, oh my
Yeah.
goodness,
That's
like
same, that's
this
what I'm doing
one
right
is
now.
incredible.
Yeah.
This is
That's-
I
insane.
love
And the one
This
where
could
he's
be a
jumping out of the
poster, you
water
know?
after he finds out that
Yep,
that,
yep.
that Lois is pregnant. He's like doing flips through the
Yeah,
water. And shit.
Yeah.
Even the
it's-
action. There's not much action in this, but when there is,
Oh,
my
that lab
God.
sequence was so good. Just no
It's
dialogue.
so good.
It's just
And I think this story is like kind of perfect for animation because it doesn't tie to a main universe, and it's the perfect length for an animated movie. Like, oh, it's so good.
They
Perfect
could do.
length for a
I'd watch that. I would totally watch that. They could do a live action movie.
Yeah,
That'd be really cool.
just
If
a movie.
they don't know what to do with Superman in movies, do this. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I don't know why the first time I read this, for some reason I just did not notice that Lois was Indian. Just did not notice it at all. And then the second time around, I was like, oh, right, like her last name. Just didn't click the first time. I don't know why.
Pretty sure they say she is. Like they talk
Yeah,
about
she
her
does say at
parents.
some point. Oh yeah, she was like, I'm pretty sure my parents were more shocked that you were more shocked about, what did they say? Oh, more shocked about like your name and not the fact that you weren't Indian.
Mhm.
Like they were more like, his name is Clark.
For some reason that didn't click the first time. So this time around, like that's the nice thing about rereading the story.
that
But
really
you
would
know,
sucks too. Imagine
as
really
I'm kind of flipping through, I'm kind of just noticing more and more that like I think the reason why I love this book so much is it has that warm hug feeling that I've talked about with so many books where
Mhm.
it's like a comfort book where I could read this and just feel safe.
Yeah. No, I know. I totally get what you mean. That's me with a lot of Superman books in general because, like I've said a lot of things, but like Superman is my favorite character. He's my favorite character
So
in
good.
fiction, and a good Superman story to me is like comforting and it makes you feel like hopeful and safe and that's really like it's not a Superman story in the natural sense, obviously, because it's not about Superman, but it has all the tropes and all the things that make Superman special are here. And the way that they subvert it, the way that it's different is what makes it so excellent,
For
Like
sure. Yeah.
it's such an interesting way to tell the Superman story, because ultimately Superman is always about this kid who's moving to the big city and what does he do with these powers he has, whatever, like a guy that wants to do good. That's Superman. And in
I'm going to
this
say something to annoy
it's
JD.
it's very similar.
To tack on to what you're saying, Tyler. You know what this is, JD?
What?
This book is better Smallville.
It is.
I mean,
I mean,
it
it's
is.
different, but yeah.
I know, but I just knew that would annoy you. It's like Smallville, but like, not shit.
Ooh.
I mean, it's hard to compare 4 issues to 10 seasons of TV, but
Yeah, quantity over what?
Quality over quantity.
Um,
Imagine you said quantity over quality.
Well, that is Smallville.
Ooh.
we got a
joking.
few
Another great
listeners message us their thoughts on this book. So
I
figured
saw
we'd-
you did that. Yeah, that was
I
cute.
did. I figured we'd
You-
read some out loud and then
yeah,
we'll do
dude.
this over other Hero Storybook clubs too. So starting with Modoc's Crap House 8 said
Murdoch's Crap House. Hey, what the fuck?
it's the Instagram.
That is a
Says,
legendary name.
I always
I heard-
thought that Secret Identity shows that even in a world without Batman or anybody else, Superman can embody a better and greater future for humanity.
Mhm.
Which is true.
Yeah,
this-
Thank you,
that's,
Modoc's Crap
yes.
House 8 for the.
and that's what's always been, I think, special about Superman is that like he is the example. He is without him, it's hard to like justify or even explain other superheroes. Like if you don't have Superman, it's hard to have hope in a DC universe. It's hard to have hope in any comic book universe.
Exactly.
Superman.
Great Power 15 says it's a Superman story that's not about Superman. It's a random kid who happens to have the same name as Clark Kent and suddenly got the powers of Superman.
Yeah,
This
we
already-
fucking
this-
read
this
it,
already-
dude.
This is already a better synopsis than I gave.
So he's not an alternate Clark Kent. He is his own character, and this book is his story, not Clark's. That's what I find so interesting about this book, and it's really well done. Becoming his own man, creating his own life instead of what society intends the type of person or life he should have. This is kind of what we mentioned earlier.
What was that user's name? What was that dude's name?
Great Power 15.
That dead set sounds like if you were reading a comic and it was like Tony Stark looking at Twitter or something, that would be like a fake Twitter name that they'd come up with. Doesn't it? That's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Change your name, dude. Number one
well-
Harper fan.
Maybe change this name. Our
Harper's Powerhouse 8.
so
Yes.
Articule 8 Prime 8 says best Superman story ever
How
written.
many 8s are there?
Superman
Ever
began
written?
Superman began as
Oh,
a metaphor
bro.
for an
Adolescent.
adolescent, thank you, male power fantasy. But here he grows past that and becomes a metaphor for love, marriage, parenthood, family, middle age, and growing old. It's absolutely beautiful written. And Stuart Immonen's art is gorgeous while keeping the story grounded in a world that feels real.
Best Superman story ever. Read Kingdom Come, dickhead.
Whoa.
Would you,
Kingdom Come
Tyler?
is-
Would you say
Kingdom Come
top
doesn't
three?
have Superman in the name.
Top 3
so-
Superman stories?
Yeah. Would you say top three?
If is this in my top
Yeah.
3? No.
Top five?
Top 5.
Is
Top
Doomsday
5?
Clock?
Probably
10?
not top 5. Maybe top 10, but
Is
Maybe
Doomsday
top
Clock?
10. Wow.
is Doomsday Clock in my top 5 Superman stories?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
I mean,
I don't think so.
Doomsday
I
Clock
kind of
is
want that
good.
out of context now that Tyler going, I don't think so.
I don't
I don't think so. Well, my favorite Superman story is Kingdom Come, and honestly, I mean, obviously, like I used to say, that was my favorite comic ever, and then the New Frontier obviously destroyed it. But there's something special about a good Superman story, you know, and this is one of them. This
Makes
is
you
a
feel
good
wholesome
one.
after.
Yes.
Like you get to the
And-
last
and
page, you close
hopeful.
the book, and you're like, huh. You get like Harper said, and be like, life is good as you're
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Well, it was like very inspiring to like go travel up in the mountains and shit and like look at how
into the
small
sky.
you actually feel. Yeah. And then
Did,
to like
did you sleep in the sleeping bag like Clark did and hope that you were just going to start flying away?
No, I slept in a cabin like a rich fool because I got money. I'm like you, Home Depot boy.
It's one of those books though, like it makes you really think, like, what would you do if you had Superman's powers, you know?
That didn't make me.
Would you
sad.
try to be Superman, or would you just be like a
No.
dickhead and rule the world?
Well,
Like
and
a
especially
plankton.
after you get like captured by the government and you escape like by the skin of your nuts. Like, would
Yeah.
you really
Skin
want
of your
Skin of your nuts. What?
to? That's a saying.
That's not the
Skin
same.
of
The
your
saying
nuts.
is the skin of your teeth.
Teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, the
that's
skin of your
saying.
nuts. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
What? The skin of
I've never heard that before.
Anyway, if you barely escaped the clutches of the
Can you
government,
imagine if he said that in the book? He's like, God, I just escaped by the skin of my nuts.
if you
Thanks,
barely
Superman.
escaped like that, like, would you even want to be Superman anymore? Or would you be so paranoid
Yeah.
that you wouldn't be able to like
Yeah,
live?
and I like that they explore that as well.
Yeah.
So good.
He's not. I like that he's not like. It would have been so easy if he gets the powers and he's like, all right, I'm gonna be Superman. Like, you know, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
I'm
like
gonna
they really
be the
make him
hopeful.
earn it.
Yeah, exactly. He's a guy. He's just a dude. You know.
And I think that's what's so great about the first chapter is that like at first he really wants the fame. He's like he's
Mhm.
like, oh, like the book deals and the movie deals and like everything I could do. Like I could be like a Harlem Globetrotter type thing. Like, I could really be like this traveling show. And then it all goes terribly wrong and he realizes like it's a responsibility. Like it's kind of Spider-Man-esque in a way.
Spider-Man, yeah.
Oh, fucking.
They
Now Harper hates it.
do you think there should be
Young
more
Josh
of
Harper
these?
likes it.
Do you think there should be more like they did the Creature of the Night Batman one, which is
Which
about
was
a
good.
kid named
It was good. It's not as good as
Bruce,
this, but it's good.
Bruce Wainwright,
Yes.
who is also an orphan, and they did that was also Kurt Busiek.
Yeah.
But do you think there should be more as well? It should be like a Marvel version. A kid named Peter Parker in the real world gets bit by a spider.
You know what? I don't think that you can kind of oversaturate it, but I do think this kind of storytelling is interesting, and I think it can
Yeah.
work for other
I think
characters.
you can't do. I think it's not a template for other characters. Like you shouldn't just go.
Yeah.
But the
Here's a
Batman
new-
one, the
yeah.
Batman one isn't like this. It's
Exactly.
kind of different, which is good.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
never-
I think if you have a unique idea on how to do something like this, it is a very cool way to tell a story.
So what character
You
would
know.
you pick if you had to do one?
I think Spider-Man would be
man.
the one.
Peter Parker?
I think Spider-Man. I think the thing about Spider-Man is that he's already like a kid trying to be a hero. You know what I mean? So I don't know how different it would really feel from like the regular Peter Parker story.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The kid's just
I'm
seeing
not
like
sure,
Victor
actually.
Stone. He's like, oh no. He's near like a
Uh,
mother box.
Look at her. Maybe
Matt
like
Murdock.
an X-Men type character, or the X-Men, like mutants.
I was gonna
That's
say
fine.
like Deadpool, like you get cancer,
Deadpool.
except there's no Weapon X. Yeah,
So just a guy with cancer.
you just get cancer.
Oh no. Oh man. Work.
I was
that
thinking
the
maybe Green Lantern could work.
Hal
Not in
Jordan?
the sense like you couldn't do it where it's like Green Lantern's
Aliens
a comic
with a-
and like
yeah.
everyone knows like Hal Jordan. Like I think if your name was Hal Jordan, you wouldn't really stick out as much. But like the idea of like wanting that ring, like wanting like it could be the reverse of like Clark hates his name in this, but in that one, like a Green Lantern one, he could really want to be Green Lantern. Like he wishes he had the Green
that'd be
Lantern
cool.
He
power.
becomes an astronaut. Green Lantern.
I
Well, that's
did.
Earth One.
I was dead set gonna say the Flash, and then I was like, oh wait, that already is the Flash because he reads Jay Garrett comics. And then
Yeah, and
Barry
Wally's
because of
like
that.
Barry's biggest fan.
Yeah,
Before,
I
like,
was
he wishes he
genuinely
has the
just like,
power, yeah.
they've already done that.
A guy named Jay
I
Garrett.
actually can't think of one like in specific. I think
Mm.
I think you could do something cool like with the idea of the X-Men. But I mean, if a guy was in the real world named Scott Summers, I mean, who cares? It's not like Clark Kent, you know.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
but I think this story is like, I would put it on the essential Superman reading list. To me, Superman is best when it's kind of out of continuity, which is horrible to say, but like I think it gives you a lot of room to play with, and like I said, for
It's
me,
easier to
if it's
explore
not one, it's
Superman
1A.
like that.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah,
what
fair
would
enough.
the other one be?
All-Star Superman.
Oh yeah, okay, you
Great
said
story.
that. Yeah.
Great story.
My
I guess,
favorite is
what do you guys rate the book?
10.
10.
I'll go
9.5.
8.
9.5.
9.5.
8 or 9.
Yeah, it was good. I loved it, but
It is
yeah.
good. New
Yeah.
Frontier was
Where
better.
does it
though.
where does it rank on your Superman Hunter as someone who hasn't read as much
I
Superman?
think I prefer All-Star Superman barely. But yeah, yeah.
All-Star Superman is like the grand, like the
Yeah, that
the
is
magnum
the-
opus
yeah.
of Superman stories.
Let me
I haven't
clear
read
my
All Star
throat.
Superman.
Oh, you should. It's good.
Really?
It's really good.
Really?
I haven't read it in a long time.
Harper,
I
I
was
think you
telling
would
JD
like it.
about this. Like I lost it. I had a trade of it and I lost it. I don't know where it is.
He picked
Hunter
it up in
thinks I would
Midtown
like it.
Comics,
Yeah.
and he's like, "It's not
I
Black
need to buy a
Label."
new one.
I just think like we've done we did DC New Frontier and now we've done this and they're books that are like really saying something far
Yeah, what
more
happens
than
when we get to like just a normal comic, like
well,
Dark
that's
Side
what I'm.
War?
That's why I'm struggling with Armor
or
Wars because I'm like, what are like?
God
It's such a
Bomb.
deep story for Tony Stark in 616 canon. So just for
But
like,
it's not
you know what I
saying
mean? It's like
anything about.
it's not
There's
like,
no, like major
it's
themes. Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's just a character book. You know what I mean? And like they're still as excellent.
Like
as
it's just an
these
arc
could
in a
be.
comic book. It's just
But I
another
feel
arc.
like book club, we're now talking about things that are much more
They're like
complex.
affect our
Like
lives,
poignant.
literally.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Harper and I are just like, "Hey, I want to see Thor like throw a
God
hammer
Bomb.
at an alien."
Well, I can
and
think-
time
But I
travel
also
out of
think I think there is a place for that though. I think there's a place for us to go, this book was awesome and
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
badass.
obviously.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's just funny to like these two back to back that are like, I mean, they're not similar in concept whatsoever, but like their themes are just so much deeper.
Like they're
than
both trying to
Tony
say
Stark's
something.
technology has fallen into the wrong hands. Like,
Yeah.
Thor time travels to get his old and younger self to fight an alien.
Is
Yeah.
that in that?
That's
That's what it's about.
Yeah, that's
That's a
Cool.
good concept. That you
Spoiler.
might win the vote with that if you keep talking like
It's
that.
Yeah, that's
freaking
a
awesome.
rad concept.
It is
so
really
cool.
awesome. It is awesome.
It is really good.
Because like I can think of a bunch of like, in canon kind of single issue stories that I think are on this level.
Like
But I can't think of like a big story because like
Yeah.
generally you don't get
well,
mainstream story arcs that
we
have
don't
like
have to
big
do
things like this.
like massive arcs. You could do the fucking that Civil War book we always talk about. The one where it's
Yeah, well,
Tony and
I was
Steve
actually
talking to each
thinking
other.
and you'll remember this, Tyler, the Invincible Iron Man 500.1, the like
Mhm.
40, 50 page book where it's Tony at the Alcoholics Anonymous.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's just him going over his life because it's
Yeah.
very, very real. Because to me, that would cover more conversation,
Yeah.
ironically, than Armor Wars, where we go, man, when he put the fucking, the disruptor pack on fucking Crimson Dynamo, that was sick.
Yeah, when the
Okay.
captain was so cool.
yeah, remember when he fought Steve? That was amazing. Anyway, like,
But I also think the point of book club is
bada,
like,
bada, bada, bing, bada, boom.
I think the point of book club is that you could kind of like talk about a story. Like
Anything.
obviously you're picking it because it means a lot to you.
Yeah.
So you could talk about like how the story impacted you. Like Secret Identity is something that came to me later in my comic reading career, but it's something that like has left such a profound impact on me.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Even then,
I
like
think
you
maybe
could have
1
a
week
huge,
too.
like Dark Side War is stupid. Like it's huge, it's massive,
It's so
but it
stupid.
doesn't affect your
It's-
life
Can
or
someone
anything.
clip that out of context? Him saying Dark Side War.
No.
Dark Side War
Side War
is
is
stupid.
stupid, eh?
It is, but it's like a good stupid. Like, this is awesome. Like, the Flash gets the power of death and runs through anti-monitor. Like, it's so cool.
You know,
Spoiler alert.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking like, Tyler, what if like I recommended Demon in a Bottle, but it was the trade and not the story?
Yeah. Oh my god. Well, you
Isn't
can
it
just
just
like
like
the
the last
128.
It's 8 issue. Well, that's the thing. If we were talking about that, it would just be 128. It would
Yeah,
just be
I think
the
we
issue.
could do that though. We could probably just be like, this single issue we should all read.
I
Like,
think we
that's-
should, and the reason I think we should is because if we do it and we kind of know in advance, we can kind of record a couple back to back. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't take
but
that
there's
long
a
to
vote,
read a
though.
single issue. Yeah, well, fuck the vote.
Oh
Wow.
god.
Let's
Stop the count.
Let's put
Yeah,
a rain
stop the
check.
voter fraud.
Well, okay, well, let's put a rain check on that because we're just kind of funny. How about for next month, June? Let's just vote on a regular book like we've been doing, and then maybe after that we'll do
Like trades.
Yeah. So how about we each say our pick for June, and then
Mine is
we will
I'm sure I
post
changed
on
mine.
our Instagram story the
might
day
change
this
mine.
video comes out. So go to on Instagram. Or not on
I
Instagram.com.
just had a throat
Instagram
lozenge
at
cut open my gum, and I'm bleeding now.
Jeez. Okay, cool.
Fuck.
So
Anyway.
go to Instagram on the day this video launches, and then check the story, and you can vote on between the 4 books that we're about to mention. But here's a little thing that I was thinking: comment what book you want us to do, and that counts as 2, maybe.
2 votes.
Interesting.
Yeah, 2.
I'm
Maybe we
using
should
his spam accounts to Thor God of Thunder, Thor God of Thunder, Thor God of Thunder.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so you vote on the Instagram story and it counts as 1, but if you comment the book on the comments down below, it counts as 2. So books. My book is Thor God of Thunder by Jason Aaron. Thor time traveling and fighting Gore the God Butcher.
By the way, Midtown Comics did not have book 1 of that because I was looking.
It
to
did
get
not actually. I had
They
book
had
1
book
over
2,
there.
but not book 1.
I had book 1 actually.
Oh, strange. I would probably say I would count it as both trades, really, because it go right into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well, you should get
basically
volume 1 of Jason Aaron. It's like all 12 issues.
Yeah, exactly.
God Bomb and God Butcher.
Yeah, those are the 2 arcs. So that's my vote. Just if you want my vote, say Thor or Thor God Butcher. Someone else want to say their next one?
I think I'll stick with Trinity. It's it's Matt Wagner, I believe.
Yep.
Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman meet for the first time.
Okay,
It's a good book.
so vote Trinity if you want Trinity.
Yep.
Harper, you want to say yours?
Huh? What?
Your pick for June?
I don't know.
You gotta
he's
have
gonna
one.
He's gonna figure it out. He said he redacted Armor Wars.
I'm redacting.
Just do Armor Wars, bro.
Do you want me to do Armor Wars?
I want to
What
read
are we
Armor
gonna
Wars.
talk
I've never read
about?
it. I've been waiting for.
Okay, I get. Well, also, I mean, Tyler will know, like the epilogue issue. I feel like there's a lot to talk about in that. Yeah, fuck it, Armor Wars. Why not?
And that's like
Getting
a
a
thing
Disney
now,
Plus
though.
show.
People
Yeah.
would be mad if we didn't talk about Armor Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Would they? Because no one fucking votes for it.
But it's but it's like your thing, you know.
It is your thing.
It's my
Plus,
thing, I suppose.
we kind of do this book club so then the listener could also read it too and kind of join in the conversation.
true.
So it's getting Disney
I hope
Plus
people
show
have
soon.
read Secret Identity. We got Davian to read fucking The New Frontier, so
JD, your book.
that's a big book to read. Dude.
So I didn't actually prep one because I didn't realize that I was gonna have one ready for tonight.
prep one.
Bada bada boo, bada bee, bada bada boo.
Sorry. Anyway.
For now, since I think Armor is gonna win anyway, I'm gonna go with Once and Future Volume 1.
Oh, I want to read that.
Boom Studios.
Boom Studio. I meant
Oh,
Indies. on that.
Studios.
Okay.
It's cool story, so I'll
Once in
That'll be
future.
okay.
Okay.
Oh,
I actually do
fuck,
want to
I'm
read
not looking forward to when we get like 3 months from now, and he's like Geiger, but fucking Geiger.
Well, I think there's got to be 1 month though where we all recommend bad books. Maybe when we
Yeah,
all,
I was
maybe
thinking
when
that.
all of our books
we
are
do
read.
All Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder.
Oh,
Yes.
that was the first
Oh.
one that came to my mind too.
God, I've
Identity
like,
Crisis.
What's that Iron Man story? The
Identity
Man
Crisis
in
would
the-
be a great one.
the Mask in
Legends
the
of the
Iron
Dark
Man.
Knight
I
multiverse.
don't want
the
to ruin
Joe
Identity
Quesada
Crisis
one.
for myself though. 'Cause
Yes.
I told you I read it when I was 14. And I was like, this is pretty cool.
Identity
Tyler, do you
Crisis.
remember? Tyler, do you remember before like I'd started reading that run? You were like, "Isn't there a story down the line like where, like
Yeah.
Tony's suit falls in love
Tony's
with
suit becomes sentient and falls in love
as
with him?
soon
yeah.
as soon as the ironically the Busick run ends, it goes straight into that.
Yeah.
It's not.
I've never known.
It's
The
not
man
good.
in the or the mask in the Iron Man. It's
Hey,
It's
I'm
the
not
mask
awful.
in the Iron Man. It's the most confusing fucking title.
And it would have been
Anyway.
so, this is not the discussion, but it would have been so easy to retcon as Ultron, but no, it's his
yes,
armor
it would.
Still,
because of Y2K, his armor became sentient and fell in love with him.
and that inspired Lando Calrissian and Solo.
Traps him in a yep. Oh god.
So terrible.
Strange. Anyways, JD, you want to do an outro since this was your book?
Yeah, if you checked out Superman Secret Identity, thank you. I really appreciate it. I really love this story, and I hope you did too. Thanks for checking out Book Club, and tune back next month when we read probably Armor Wars.
Or Thor, both
Do
Thor.
the JD sign. Do the JD. Whoa! Look at us. We're rock.
Oh, and
rock
check
stars.
out our last month's video if you
Book
want to see
Wars.
us talk just like this, talking about DC Infinite Frontier.
Infinite Frontier.
The New Frontier, not
New
Infinite
Frontier, never mind. No, that Infinite Frontier is not out yet. New Frontier.
Yes, it is.
I mean, like the event.
Not the one shot.
Yeah, no.
We should
If we
review the one
recommended
shot.
that for next month, yeah, for Book Club, the one shot that we already talked about on the
Yeah, we were like,
Yeah.
it was fine.
And yeah, bye.